Thank you for joining us for the news at noon this election day. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We start today's newscast with the surveillance video that shows the moment a ballot box in Vancouver was set on fire. It was captured by a C-Trans surveillance camera at the Fisher's Landing Transit Center last Monday. The video shows a car that drives up to the box early that morning. Then about a minute later, we start to see smoke coming from the box and then a big explosion. That fire destroyed hundreds of ballots, and investigators are still looking for the arsonist who they believe also targeted another ballot box that same morning. That one across the river outside the Multnomah County Elections Office.
Voter turnout in Portland is lagging behind when compared to previous years, and it looks like the more complicated ranked choice ballot may have something to do with it. So people dropping off their ballots at Pioneer Courthouse Square told us that voting was confusing, overwhelming, and time-consuming, but important. And instead of picking one candidate, Portland voters can rank up to 6 in the race for mayor and city council.
There were so many people on there that I was like, oh gosh.
I like that there are lots of options, and I like the ranked choice voting.
There was a lot of candidates. I don't think we need that many candidates. I think quality over quantity, and we'll get it better.
Remember, mail-in ballots must be postmarked or put in a drop box by 8 p.m. tonight.
The biggest push on Election Day is getting people to turn in their ballots, but businesses in downtown Portland are also gearing up for the possibility of violence tonight.
KGW's Daisy Caballero went downtown to check out how some of those businesses are preparing for the worst.
Pay attention and you can smell the sawdust in downtown Portland as businesses prepare for the unknown following the election results.
Well, we started at 6:30, but we got here at about 8.
Dimas True has stayed busy boarding up buildings like the old Trek Bicycles location off Salmon Street, a location that was damaged during the 2020 riots.
Are you surprised at all that this is the prep?
No, not now. Not after the last, few presidencies. This is all common. I expected it, so.
Now, a maintenance worker with this building tells me to replace these 3 window panes, it would cost them about $15,000, which is why they're already prepping and boarding up all of their windows.
Other businesses got a head start.
The boards went up, I believe it was last Thursday.
Jay Blyke owns B Tailors and Cleaners and says he's conflicted about the boarded windows.
It's just the messaging that bothers me a little bit. I would like to be in a downtown where you don't have to worry about putting boards up.
His windows have been smashed 4 to 5 times since the pandemic, so he's aware of the hefty cost.
So it's a huge expense and one that we really can't afford going forward. So being proactive with the boards is totally fine.
Bigger corporations like Wells Fargo wrapped a fence around the Tower building.
I just hate it.
It's a sight those living downtown aren't thrilled to see.
It really gets next to me. It just shouldn't be. We shouldn't have to go through this all over again.
Many around Pioneer Courthouse Square are too in prepare mode. Many say they'll stay open as usual, pending any riots. And some workers have been given the option to work from home for these next few days, like Tammy Johnson, but that's not on her mind.
I'm not afraid. I'm not paranoid. I was here every day during the protesting. It didn't bother me because it's all elsewhere. It's not here.
Daisy Caballero, KGW News.
And about 30 minutes ago, Portland Police Chief Bob Day held a press conference to address Election Day security concerns again. Day continues to reassure the public that they are ready for any protests or violence that might happen.
We can say confidently we are looking at best practices across the board.
Day also said that all officers are working 12-hour shifts with no paid time off.
There is a lot at stake locally on this election day. Oregon voters are weighing in on city, county, and statewide races, including all 6 of Oregon's congressional districts. One
of the most heated races is in District 5. Republican incumbent Lori Chavez-DeRemer is looking to hold her seat over Democrat Janelle Bynum. You may remember Chavez-DeRemer flipped the seat red in 2022 over Jamie McLeod Skinner.
In Washington, all 10 congressional districts are up for grabs tonight, but it's the District 3 rematch between Republican Joe Kent and Democratic incumbent Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez that could shift the balance of power in the U.S. House.
So we caught up with both candidates one last time ahead of Election Day, starting with Joe Kent. He spent last night waving signs with supporters and checking voter data, calling or texting people who haven't turned in their ballots.
We've got a real opportunity, and I think a lot of people want change. People know that things aren't right now, and so it's important that everybody gets out there and votes.
We stopped by a rally for Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez on Sunday night where she urged voters not to wait until the last minute to drop off their ballots.
Look, people want us to be afraid to vote. That's not right. Real patriotism is based on getting our votes in, talking to our neighbors. It's not about unfriending people on Facebook.
Right now, voter turnout in Clark County is sitting at 57%, but that's likely to go up quite a bit as all ballots are counted. 4 years ago, total turnout was 85%.
We'll also be watching to see how the race for Washington governor turns out tonight. Attorney General Bob Ferguson is taking on former Congressman and Sheriff Dave Reichert. And there's only one U.S. Senate seat on the ballot in Washington this year. That's Democratic incumbent Marie Cantwell running against Republican Raul Garcia. There are no Senate seats, by the way, on the Oregon ballot this year.
If you still need help filling out your ballot, just text the word VOTE to 503-226-5088, and we'll text you back with a link to KGW voter guide.
Also, be sure to join in tonight as we bring you complete election night coverage, streaming for free on both KGW.com and KGW Plus. We have KGW anchors David Malko and Laurel Porter, joined by our political panel as they break down all the results as they come in tonight from all the key races. We also have a team of reporters who will be spread out all across the region, bringing us the latest reaction from election night headquarters. Live coverage begins at 7 o'clock with the first results streaming in at 8. By the way, you can download the KGW Plus app on Roku, Apple TV, or Fire TV.
All right, let's head over to Rod Hill now for a look at weather. Rod?
Hi, everybody. A pretty quiet day. I mean, it's not sunny, it's cloudy, and we do have reports of kind of light showers or sprinkles around the area in scattered locations, which we expected. Everything you see on radar is really light precipitation and clouds continuing to drop down from the north. I don't think we see much change in our weather through the afternoon. We're still watching winds, not here on the west side, but out east. Remember at this time yesterday, we were just about ready to start a wind warning and wind advisory from the Dalles out into the Pendleton area. All of those advisories and warnings have been dropped. In fact, Pendleton now down to a sustained wind at 18, and the Dalles right now all the way down to sustained winds at 8. So those winds even falling more quickly than what the forecast had called for. So obviously no leftover concern there. We're at 54 in the city. We might go up another degree or two this afternoon. I chose this camera out of Camas Mills Golf Course. So if you look at the cart path right there, that's definitely wet. So that's one of the cameras confirming there's some light moisture out there in locations. Temperatures in the mid 50s. We still have dry weather the next 3 days, including some developing sunshine. That's ahead of my forecast.
All right, Ron, we'll see you here again in a few minutes. Meanwhile, we do want to get to some other local news headlines this afternoon. The man accused of shooting 3 people and killing one of them at the Vancouver Mall on Halloween night made his first appearance in court yesterday. Detectives say 32-year-old Travis Ward walked into the mall last Thursday, then put on a Joker mask before making his way to the food court on the second level. According to court documents, Ward followed Jair Perez before shooting him in the back of the head. We spoke to one of the 2 people he injured during that shooting, a man by the name of Brandon Lear.
I remember holding my chest, but in the mix of going across the main walkway downrange of where the shooter was is when I got hit.
Ward will be back in court on Thursday for a bail hearing.
The state fire marshal has awarded $3 million to 40 communities across Oregon to improve wildfire resilience. The money will help fund projects like creating new fire resistance landscapes around buildings, manage cleanup and debris disposal days, and fuel mitigation on county properties. In other news this afternoon, Boeing machinists voted to approve a new contract offer ending a nearly 2-month-long strike that cost the company an estimated $1 billion a month.
59% of the union members approved the contract, which includes a 38% raise over 4 years, a 401k match of up to 8%, reinstated annual bonuses, and a $12,000 ratification bonus.
I'm proud of our members. It is a win, very successful win. They achieved a lot, and we're ready to move forward.
The union says workers can return to their jobs as early as tomorrow's first shift, but they absolutely have to be back no later than the start of their shift next Tuesday. Even with this settlement, Boeing says it's still planning layoffs to make up for the company's financial losses.